All right, let's talk about something huge happening in crypto right now. It's this idea called the modular endgame, and believe me, it's set to finally fix one of the biggest, most frustrating problems in the entire space: speed.
But hey, before we jump into the future, let's get real for a second about the present. Have you ever tried to make a transaction on a blockchain and it just hangs? You're just sitting there, watching, waiting. For all this revolutionary tech, why does using crypto so often feel like you're stuck on dial-up internet?
Okay, so let's get right into it. The core of that slowness, that frustrating wait, is what we can call the blockchain bottleneck. And it all boils down to a really old design choice: trying to make one single blockchain do absolutely everything. Probably the best way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. So think of the old-school monolithic blockchains, like a small diner where one poor person is trying to do it all. They're the host, the chef, and the cashier. You can imagine, as soon as it gets a little busy, the whole place just grinds to a halt. Now the new, modular way, that's more like a modern food court. You've got specialized kitchens, a dedicated delivery service running orders, and one central cashier. It's all about specialization, and that right there is what makes it light years more efficient.
You see, for years, these monolithic chains were trying to juggle three massive jobs all at the same time. They had to execute the transactions, make sure all the data was available for everyone, and then actually settle the payments. By forcing one system to do the whole shebang, they created this huge bottleneck. It forced this terrible trade-off between speed, security, and decentralization.
And that brings us to the big idea, the solution: unbundling the blockchain. It's actually a pretty simple concept, but it's incredibly powerful. If doing everything at once is the problem, well then let's just break it apart. Let each part of the system do just one thing, but do it exceptionally well. Let's go back to our food court to see how this actually works. So step one, you've got execution. This is handled by specialized apps called roll apps. These are our expert kitchens, just cranking out transactions super fast. Then you have step two, data availability. This is where layers like Celestia come in. They're our delivery service, making sure everyone can see the orders, that everything is public and verifiable. And then finally, step three is settlement. A base layer, like Dimension, acts as our central cashier, finalizing everything and making the transaction permanent. Now, I just used a really important word there, permanent. That brings us to a key concept you need to know: finality. All finality means is that it's the exact moment a transaction is locked in. It's irreversible. It can't be changed, ever. For any real financial system, that's the moment that truly matters. And this, right here, is where we get to the real breakthrough of this whole modular approach. By splitting up all those jobs, developers have unlocked a level of speed, a level of performance that honestly, we used to think was impossible. We're talking about sub-second finality. Less than 1 second. That's it. Let that sink in for a moment. That is the new standard. We're talking about the time from the instant you hit send to the moment your transaction is permanently locked on the blockchain. It is a total, absolute game changer.
Just to put that into perspective, the old way could take several seconds, sometimes even minutes, to reach that finality. The new modular way, under a second. It's literally the difference between waiting around for a wire transfer to clear versus that instant approved feeling you get when you tap your credit card.
So what does that kind of speed actually unlock for us? Well, everything. We are talking about DeFi that happens in real time. Blockchain games that are actually responsive and fun to play with no lag. User experiences that are finally as smooth and seamless as the best apps you use every day. And maybe the biggest deal of all, an on-chain financial system that can actually go head-to-head with the speed of Wall Street.
But this isn't just a cool tech upgrade, it's a massive economic shift. This move to modular is completely changing how value is created and captured in crypto. It's rewriting the rulebook for builders and investors.
You can kind of break this new modular economy down into 4 key pillars. First, there's this booming execution economy. That's all those specialized roll apps creating value. Second, the data layers themselves become these incredibly important, valuable resources. Third, DeFi gets a huge upgrade in efficiency. And finally, the security of the whole system gets good enough to attract the big players. We're talking serious institutional money.
So let's just break that down a little more. First, we are on the verge of a Cambrian explosion of new, specialized apps, each one perfectly tuned for its job. As all these apps take off, the data layers underneath them become essential, high-demand real estate. This all makes DeFi way safer and faster.
And because this new model finally cracks the old scalability problems, it blows the doors wide open for institutional capital to flood in.
This all leads to a fundamental change in how you have to think about this space. The big question is no longer which layer 1 blockchain is going to win. Instead, the question is now which stack of modular parts is going to create the most powerful and efficient ecosystem. The whole Ethereum killer narrative, it's over. The new game is all about building the best Ethereum collaborator.
So, where does this all lead? What does this unbundled future really look like? Well, in short, it means the entire crypto industry is finally growing up.
Look, this is so much more than just another incremental update. This whole shift to modular systems with sub-second finality, this is the moment that blockchain technology graduates. It's moving from being a really cool but niche experiment to becoming a truly viable piece of global infrastructure that's ready for the mainstream.
And that really leaves us with one final and super exciting question. For years, developers have been building with one hand tied behind their back, held back by these old limits. Now, those limits on speed and efficiency are basically disappearing. So with the brakes finally off, what on earth are we going to build next?